This is what's scary about it.
Whoa, hold on, stop. Jay, put those up again.
Put what up?
Your freaking guns, bro. Look at that.
Did he give the
Dude. Yeah, Jay's over there looking all toned. Look at that crap.
Oh boy.
It's so funny. I was actually on the spreadsheet, so I wasn't even watching myself. So
yeah, bro. No, looking good.
Jay, the curls for the girls.
My 15-year-old drags me to the gym every day.
It's showing, man.
Yeah, as long as I stay chest up, I'm good.
Welcome to Drunk Real Estate. Grab a drink and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to episode 105 of Drunk Real Estate. I am Kyle Wilson, Ashley Wilson's husband, and I'm joined with my co-host, Jay, AJ, and Mauricio. Welcome, gentlemen. Cheers to another episode.
Are we really doing this? This is I don't like these prediction episodes. Are we really going to do this?
I mean, Jay's he literally called us out last episode and said, we are doing the predictions episode last week. And I had this discussion with AJ. We were coming up here. AJ did a great job. He did a little AI summary of how we did last time with the predictions. The problem is, if you go back and listen to our predictions episode, the predictions were for the end of the year. So what was the point? Like, if we don't know right now, we could say like who's winning, but we can't there was actually no winners yet.
Well, we can always do new predictions. There's plenty of other things we can be predicting. We can talk about our current status and where things are headed. I mean, it's fun. People love these.
You know what we can predict again? Last time I predicted that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl. How'd that work out, boys?
I don't know. Which sport is that?
That's like
I'm predicting they win it again. Back-to-back champs.
I predict that I won't give a rat's ass about it, and I'll probably be right again.
Well, let's get right into this, though. I will give updates on who's winning because according to this, AJ was significantly winning so far in his predictions. I don't think I was that far behind. And then Jay and then Mauricio was pulling up the rear. Mauricio was shouting from the rooftops, recession, and all of his predictions were based on that. So let's start with that. Does anyone want to update their predictions on a recession this year? AJ and I both said no recession in 2025. Mauricio, Jay both called for a recession. Jay, do you still think there's no recession this year?
Well, it looks like by the time this episode comes out, we're going to see a strong Q2 GDP reading. So if we're using the 2 negative quarters of GDP as the benchmark for a recession, I'd say it's unlikely because that would require both Q3 and Q4 to be negative. Not saying it couldn't happen, it could, but we're already halfway through the year and we've got a strong Q2 reading, it looks like. So I think the safe bet here is at least no technical recession this year.
But if the recession starts in Q4, it goes Q4 and then Q1, right? And then they decide the recession, they call the recession in the middle of 2026. Didn't the recession technically start in Q4 of 2025?
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, I'm sticking with that's a good point. So thank you, Mauricio. I am sticking with my prediction that we will see a recession that starts either in Q3 or Q4. We may not know about it until next year.
All right, hold on. I give you props. I thought you were going to pivot. I thought you were going to caveat like you always do, and you didn't. So you stuck with it. All right. You're still at the moment you're losing. I'll just point that out. Mauricio, are you sticking with it too?
Can I continuously vehemently object to the format of this show, or have we moved on from that?
We've moved on from that.
There's no way we're going to do another because I got AJ's report card and I'm like stinking last, so I'm just really down right now. And
Just
I don't
in
know what
protest
to do.
at this point.
I'm protesting. I might just go the complete opposite. I need to mix things up. So if my prediction was there was a recession I'm going to stick with it though. I think there is going to be a recession by the end of the year. I'm sticking with my guns.
Let's be clear. We've been doing these prediction episodes since mid 2023. And I think Mauricio has called for a significant recession every single time, like major recession.
I have successfully called 23 of the last 2 recessions. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page there.
For the record, AJ, I don't know about you, but I assume we're both sticking with no recession this year.
Yes, sir.
Mauricio, you are the Robert Kiyosaki of the group.
We've gotten pretty good at kicking this can down the road, and with everything going on, it's pretty easy for them if they start seeing the wheels fall off a little bit. Now, it might throw a wrench in there if Powell's just keeping interest rates high just out of spite. But traditionally, I would think if he starts to see any sign of faltering, he's going to pound on that easy button. All right, next, the next one everyone wants to know is how many rate cuts. So the consensus, we were all thinking there would be maybe like 2 or 3 rate cuts. Now I think 2 still on the table. 3 is very unlikely. So I'll go back to AJ. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see a couple rate cuts? 3, 1, none? What do you think?
2.
2. So we're going to end up. So we're calling that 3.75, right, Jay?
So look, I like the consensus here. So for those that are watching this on YouTube, here is the basically investor sentiment and what the current market conditions are, or current market predictions are for a rate cut over the rest of the year. So it's about 5.5% chance of no rate cut, 28% chance of 1 cut, 44% chance of 2 cuts, and over 22% chance of 3 cuts. And then there's still a little bit of a chance of a full point. So this is saying 2 cuts. I think we get at least 1. I mean, if I'm going to call that there's going to be a recession starting this year, I think I'd be crazy not to say that there's going to be.
If you think there's a recession this year, then even calling 2 cuts is crazy. You're contradicting yourself.
If the recession starts in Q4,
but that's not. So the question would be: is it classified as a 2024 recession?
If it starts, yeah. Well, yeah.
That's what we just talked about. If we get Q4 and Q1 of next year as negative GDP. Technically, that started in Q4. We just don't.
We'll give him, if it starts in the end of 2025, and we don't notice it till 2026. You and I will come on the podcast, and we will give a PSA saying Jay and Mauricio we're apologizing and saying
partly
you were
right.
Yes.
Partly. Okay.
So what's your final answer, Jay? Once again, with these answers, it could be this, it could be that. Just give us an answer.
Half point.
All right. Same as AJ. Mauricio.
Are we calling percentages or are we calling how many cuts? So I mean, if 1 cut
we're assuming each cut's a quarter point. So I mean,
you can do whatever you want, Mauricio. Both of them are saying 50 bips.
Look, is it my turn or am I might as well go, right? I mean, I've been such a success. I'm gonna go a little bit against. I'm gonna go on a limb on here because I do think that. I know it's another question coming out. I do think that with the tariffs coming through, you're going to see some inflation. So I think you see some inflationary numbers as the tariffs make it through the system. So I'm going to predict no rate cuts this year because, if you've got inflation, and not that Powell wants to do Trump any favors either. He's out the door anyway, but not that he's influenced by that. But if you've got inflation numbers popping back up, which I think they are, then I think there's a good chance you'll see 0 rate cuts.
So you think recession, but no rate cuts?
Yes.
And huge inflation. And I think Mauricio at one point was calling for 9% inflation by the end of this year. So
no, by the end of the decade, that's a lock. That's a lock.
In his defense, that was the end by the end of the decade.
That's a lock. That's a mortal lock.
Geez, I now that I know we're ranking this, I do think it's most likely that we're only seeing 50 bips. But at the same time, I feel like someone's got to take the other side of it. Mauricio's saying 0. You guys are just saying right along, towing the company line with 2. I'll go 3. I'll take 3. I think inflation is much less of a problem than we think it is. I was looking at a little bit more data, and if you take out like owner's equivalent rent, which I think it has to go down. Like I know it's a bullshit.
That's a vast majority of all inflation.
Right. All of the inflation right now, like it'd be like 1 point something, 1.3 or something if you take out owner's equivalent rent. And like that has to go down. Like I know it's just survey based, but like all the data I'm seeing, that's going down. So if you take that away, we got a long run up before we're getting into inflation being a problem. So I will take 3. I think there'll be some softness in jobs, and they will, they'll go September. So what will be that? September, the next 3, starting in September.
And keep in mind, all it would take is a really bad employment reading or some other major event that leads the Fed to cut a half point at one meeting, or even 3/4 of a point at one meeting. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be. I don't think we're going to see 3 quarter-point cuts, but I wouldn't rule out a half point cut and a quarter point, or even if there's some major event.
Wait. In that scenario, you guys lose. If you're calling for 3 rate cuts and there's only 1 rate cut for 75 bibs.
I'm calling 75 bips. That's what my guess is. 75. I don't have to say how.
Mauricio just wants to argue.
Yeah, he knows he's going to lose, so he just wants to have no one win.
Oh, we got to go with that. I want to go to inflation next, but AJ hasn't answered, right?
Well, so that no, then AJ already answer? He was first. He said 50 and 50 for Jay Scott. This is for the AI. 50.
I said 2 cuts.
So AJ, clarify: 2 cuts or 50 bibs? What are you going with?
How many bips?
Oh man, I'd want to say 75.
Oh,
Ooh.
He's going with me.
Okay.
All right,
really
can I go back
do.
to 50?
Right.
All right, let's move on. We're teetering too much. We got a lot to go through. And so if we know what rates are going to be, the next logical thing was let's go with mortgage rates. Where do we think mortgage rates are going to be? Somehow the AI thought Jay was leading this, but he's still, mortgage rates are like 6, 7, and Jay still thought 6. We thought it was like mid high 5. So he's just the best of the worst. None of us are really winning this at the point, but since you are technically in the lead, Jay, I'll go with you first. What do you think mortgage rates are going to be at the end of the year?
I originally said 6. I think we're above 6. I don't think we're getting, if we get a half point cut, I don't think we're getting a half point drop in mortgage rates. So I'm going to say somewhere above 6.5. I know I said 6 earlier this year, but I'm going to go with 6.5 by the end of the year.
Mauricio, what do you got?
Where are we? Where are we today? Because I was originally saying between 5 and 6, which were higher. I guess
6,
when we did this-
7-ish.
6.9. 6.81. Actually 6.81 as of this morning.
Man, because when we did these predictions, we were talking about that. I thought it was going to be higher at 5 to 6%. So what was it when we predicted last time?
It was 7, I think, at the beginning of the year. Basically hasn't moved.
It hasn't moved much.
So this spreadsheet just isn't very accurate as most things that Jay puts together. I don't know, skip me. I got to think through this. I got thrown off by this 5 to 6.
AJ?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 6.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be under 6. But I've found with these things, it's like they become very range bound, right? So we'll see it drop, but then like once it hits 6, then it's going to kind of just bounce around there. So I'm going with you, AJ, right around 6. Mauricio, we're up to you now.
So Mauricio, I just found it on another part of the spreadsheet.
6.79.
It was 6.75 or 6.95 back in January when we made the last predictions. It's about 6.8 right now.
I mean, because it's all based on the 10-year, right? And so the 10-year, I think if inflation is the inflation one's tough, but assuming inflation comes through, then more people are going to be apt to not invest in treasuries and actually go buy a little bit more riskier assets, which means they're selling treasuries, which means the 10 years going up, which means mortgage rates are going to go up.
Wow,
So,
Mauricio, you've been hanging out with Jay too often with this response. Here we go. Give us an answer.
I'm going to say roughly the same.
Same as today, or same as what you said back in January?
Same as today.
That's not a bad guess. I think
it's a good guess.
This 10-year treasury's been annoyingly sticky. All right. So next, where do you want to go? Let's go back to our old ones. Let's go real estate worst and best. We
don't want to do
struggled a
inflation
little
as
bit.
long as we're on economics.
You want to do inflation? All right. Let's stick with inflation. Inflation. We should go with inflation because I kind of bang on right now winning this. A couple of us were actually pretty close. Me and Jay, I think it looks like we were both pretty close. So Mauricio, you got to redeem yourself here. I'll let you go first. You weren't ready last time. Where do you think inflation is going to be at the end of the year? And we're talking core PCE, I think is what we settled on at the beginning of the year.
I'm going to channel my inner Jay. I mean, the challenge is I do think inflation is coming. The question is it going to permeate through the economy within the next 6 months? You know, these things take a while. There's a lag effect, right? So I do think that the tariffs, I disagree with AJ here, where I think the tariffs will eventually make its way through the economy. You'll see, construction costs going higher because all of the base materials will be going higher. So I do expect inflation to go higher, but will that happen the next 6 months? I don't know. But
What do you disagree with me on?
that the tariffs will not result in inflation.
I didn't say that. I said they haven't yet in the last episode. Not that they wouldn't. My predictions were that they would.
Getting a little softy already. I like it. Mauricio, what do you got?
I think Jay's backpedaling a little bit on this. I'm not sure. He was very adamant that tariffs.
Give us the number, Mauricio.
I don't know what the core PC is right now.
2.7.
2.7. It'll be 2.8.
Fair.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you got?
So, I mean, it's a lot of just personal anecdotes that we're hearing. But I'm starting to hear a lot about Walmart raising prices. Procter and Gamble came out today and said they're raising prices on 25% of their product lines because of tariffs. Cars and I think it was Ford that said there's no way they can maintain their level of pricing, and they're going to have to raise prices. It feels like it's starting to seep through, and we're starting to feel like the price is coming up. And now that we are starting to see some trade deals being announced, and it looks like they're resulting in not 0 tariffs. It looks like they're resulting in a continued 15% tariff coming into the U.S. I don't see how we avoid inflation. So I think
I do. You said there's going to be a recession.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
But they can. You're saying that how they can't. Like it's, a recession could lead to less inflation, demand.
And if there's inflation, why are they dropping rates?
Well, the Fed could be in a really tough situation where they have to decide: do we want to fight inflation or do we want to fight recession? And we can have this discussion. I mean, if that happens, what does the Fed do? Do they fight inflation and raise rates, or do they fight recession and lower rates, or do they?
I think they've been very clear. They're not lowering rates.
So Jay, what are you calling?
I think we're going higher. I'm gonna go with, what did I say last time? I'm gonna go with 3.5.
3.5. Wow. So AJ, next time you run this through AI, just ask how many of Jay's predictions contradict each other. That'll be an interesting
Well,
answer.
I said 3.2 by the end of the year. So now I'm saying 3.5.
And Jay, you mentioned the tariffs, the 15% tariffs. But some of these are, like aluminum and steel. These are like 50%. So
Yeah.
if prices of aluminum, steel, and copper's going through the roof. Like that's another one that just got announced a couple of weeks ago. So if you have these raw materials, base metals going higher, again, it takes a while to permeate. So I don't know if it's going to happen by the end of the year, but that's definitely inflationary.
All right, AJ, round us out here.
I'm sticking. I'm not changing. I'm like, as of now, out of all of them, I only missed 2 so far this year up till now. I'm sticking with 3%. I think inflation's persistent. I don't think it's going anywhere. I've been saying that nonstop, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, so Mauricio's come to the dark side with me too. I was the only one who was sub 3 last time, it looks like, now that I'm looking at the proper sheet. And I'm going to say sub 3 again. So I'm going to say it might bounce up close to 3, but I think we're still finishing sub 3. As I said, I think we have a lot of things working against, and I think that owner's equivalent rent, which is a huge portion of it, is coming down. So it's going to take a lot for us to go over that. All right, do we want to go with let's go with real estate? Back into real estate, best performing asset class. Just an update. I said multifamily. That hasn't popped yet. AJ, industrial, Mauricio, multifamily, and Jay said data centers. So we anybody updating that stuff for us?
Yeah, I've actually been doing quite a few data centers, and I like that a lot. I don't know how you actually measure that. I don't know how you measure that, or in terms of if you talk about the actual data racks, you talk about the like a warehouse building. But I like that, Jay. You going to stick with yours?
I am. And
how are you measuring that?
I don't know. I think, again, a lot of it is it's hard to do empirical.
It's classified under industrial with mine.
Yeah, it goes under industrial, but there are subsegments, and you can find the data. But so far, data centers have been doing tremendously well this year.
Yeah, I'm going to change mine to data centers.
If we could do subsectors, I would like to do climate-controlled storage in first-tier markets. I could break that down. Like, if we're going to start to break down individual asset classes by type,
and then you're going to do like climate controlled second,
climate controlled first tier markets, but only first tier markets that are growing at 3%.
Well, it's so funny when you think about, and I know this is all old hat to AJ. He knows this, like, obviously, but you don't realize necessarily that that when it comes to self storage, that there are a lot of different types of self-storage. I mean, you've got the value add, you got the new build, you got the crappy old like tin can type stuff, you've got the multi-story stuff,
and the performance is wildly different.
Yeah, maybe we'll do an episode. That's not a bad idea. We should probably do an episode on self-storage at some point, because I think that could be
You have man
really
caves, you have condos, you have obviously the different types, you have contractors, you have it's wild.
Yeah, and I suspect that it a lot of it's going to impact like whether you can retrofit existing stuff into self storage. It seems like everybody talks about retrofitting office and malls and stuff into multifamily, but it feels like it's a lot easier to retrofit into self storage because self storage comes in so many different flavors. But that's a different episode.
Like you don't have to change the plumbing on office for like multifamily. You know, a lot of that office space can't house it. We don't have to do that.
Well, so for the record, I like to, when I'm measuring commercial and how they're doing, I like to use Green Street. They have something that they publish called the CPPI index. And unfortunately, you could kind of look at the graph, and if you dive into the data, you could figure out what the last ones, but it does give you the past month, the past 12 months. And so if we go past 12 months, then actually the best performing, you won't even guess this, has been malls, up 9% in the past 12 months for as far as commercial. Self-storage is down 3%, but that could be picking back up. But the loser is lodging, is down 6%. So that'll be interesting.
I'm curious what they mean by malls. Like, are people actually buying and selling malls at higher valuations, or like, what does that mean that malls
I
are
think
doing
so.
well?
So if you go back and look at the history with the malls, the thing is the malls were kind of ahead of the curve in terms of dying, right? Like it was, malls were the first things to go. And so they're at a different point in the cycle. So I just think maybe that's why they've already thinned out the herd. And now it's just the strongest surviving. And so they're
There's only 10 left, but they're all doing
exactly. So I'm hopeful that apartments are going to keep coming back. I don't know about my prediction. Apartments are up 4% in the last, but at the same point, I'm seeing a lot of data with the apartments being the supply is really trailing off, and it's just whether that's going to hit back end of 2025 or it's going to have to push to 2026. But I will stick with apartments, maybe wish casting a little bit there. As far as worst performing asset class, if we go through, office obviously was the winner. Single family, Mauricio said, we still haven't seen that yet, but there has been quite a bit of softening. So Mauricio, you could surge at the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it depends on, again, that's the issue, right? Like, what market are we talking about? I'm here in California, I mean, California's had some really, and again, I'm biased here in California. I mean, we've had some markets.
Well, if we do that, Mauricio, then I pick best performing is single family and worst performing is single family, and at the end, I'll just pick by the market. So we're saying national. Are you sticking?
I pick industrial, and I'll pick what type of industrial at the end of the year. So.
I mean, I'm specifically talking about below 2,500 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, copper wiring in California on a cold day.
Do you have any updates? Or are you just going to stick with single family here, Mauricio?
I'm sticking with single family, man.
Jay and AJ both said office. As I said with CPPI, office isn't doing great, but it's still not the worst. So, that's what AI said. That's not the data that I'm looking at.
Jay, we won.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you? So are you updating it or just claiming that you won?
No, I'm sticking with office.
Sticking with office. I said self-storage before, just to be a dick. I'm going to stick with it. Stick with self-storage. And I know AJ is going to crush it. When self-storage goes down, I feel like that's still a market where you could be a big fish.
If you were 2 years ago, you would have won.
Yeah.
Big time.
So I feel like when self-storage goes down, that's when people like AJ win versus something like apartments. There's just so many big fish that it's tough to really take advantage if you just see slowdowns. But I'm going to stick with self-storage there.
Remember, AJ said something that stuck with me for a couple of years now, that what drives self-storage, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but kind of more than anything else, is the number of single family transactions out there. When people are buying and selling houses, self-storage does well. When people aren't buying and selling houses, it does poorly. For the last couple of years, nobody's been buying or selling houses, but that feels like it's starting to change. I mean, I know I'm in a little bubble here in Southwest Florida, but I mean, the market here is getting crushed, and we're seeing a lot.
Except I thought we had a recession coming, Jay, which would be the opposite of that.
Well, how did self-storage do in 2008, AJ?
It went down, but it did better than the other asset classes.
Yeah, it's not necessarily just transactions, it's change, right? So if people are getting kicked out of their house, they're going to need a lot of self-storage too.
Change, exactly. Change is good. So whether they're buying or leaving, change is good.
But I don't necessarily think that'll happen by the end of 2025, 2026 maybe. All right, let's round this out. Since Mauricio already said sell single family home prices, I know we have a bunch of people listening to this who are single family investors. How do we think single family home prices are going to end by the end of this year? Mauricio already says he thinks it's obviously going to be down because he says it's going to be the worst performing asset class. AJ, what do you think they're going to end off at?
For the single family, I think down nationally, but I don't think substantial. So I think we'll be down, but for single family homes, but it's not going to be huge, just because I think the average will offset some of the markets that are getting hit really hard.
That's it's a bit of a pivot there. You had it up last time. Jay, do you think it's going to be up or down, or significant, insignificant?
So there's a whole lot of different data around housing that we can look at. There's new homes, there's existing homes, there's the Case-Shiller data that measures things a little differently than median home values. The one I tend to like is the Case-Shiller data because that
I think we decided last time that's what we're using.
Yeah. And so we just today's Tuesday, 2 days before this episode comes out, just today got Case-Shiller data for May. So Case-Shiller is a few months behind. And what we saw is that every month so far this year, January, February, March, April, May, home values have gone up, but the growth is slowing. And the growth in May slowed tremendously, still higher. It was like up 0.4%, but slowing. And so we're seeing a trend of slowing home growth. So
and two, it goes up normally in the spring higher. So normally that's right. And then fall in winter, it goes down.
Good point. Good point. And so if you're following the trend right now is looking as if by the time we catch up to now and the rest of the year, because again, we're still just in May for that data, I think there's a very, very reasonable chance that we start to see declining home values over this year. And so I'm going to say, I think, what are we up this year? 5%?
About 3%.
3%? Okay. I'm going to say we're going to wipe that away by the end of the year.
That's where I'm at.
I agree. So which would make my prediction at the beginning be flat. So I'm going to stick with flat for the year.
What was my prediction at the beginning? I think it might have been flat also. Yeah, I was flat also.
There you go. All right. Should we take a little break here? That we got a little intense. We already got a little saucy there. AJ took offense a little bit. So let's go around the horn, see how you guys are doing. Mauricio, how's it going, man? What are you drinking today?
Well, I've decided to mix it up big time because I needed to change my mojo on the prediction. So I'm at the office and I got to get back home. So I'm switching to a little Sapporo Black. Look, I got some. Yeah, I went to sushi the night and a takeout, and this lady was pouring, a pint of beer and I'm like, dude, that beer looks good. I haven't had a beer in a while, so I came across this today, and I'm like, let me grab a little beer tonight, and it's tasty, malty.
Nice. It's good to see you back in the studio. We had a couple days of you out in the boondocks.
I don't know what I'm going to do. The ranch, I'm on Starlink, and it's just, as you guys could tell from our meeting today, it's just when it jumps, Starlink jumps from satellite to satellite every 5 or 10 minutes, and every so often it'll jump, and it just doesn't work. So I'm a little bit. I only got this office for another month. I'm out of here at the end of August, so I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to move in with AJ. I think is my plan right now.
You're welcome. Anytime.
You could always get 2 Starlinks, and then they then mesh the signal.
If that works, dude, if that works, I'm doing it. I was trying to get like the enterprise or the business, but they don't offer it, I'm on the wait list there. So I just got the regular stuff, but I need to do something.
So it's a bit technical, but there is a router that you could put 2 different internet signals, and it will commingle those 2 signals. So even if one drops off or one gets slow or whatever,
isn't it the same satellite that's going over my house at the time? It's not like it's going bound. I don't know. That's the issue though. It's switching.
I don't know that it's necessarily the same.
All right, I'll look into it. I need a solution, guys. Otherwise, this podcast is going to be jumpy. The rest. That's my prediction for the rest of the year. The podcast is going to be jumpy.
AJ, how's it going over there, man?
Going good. Got my Diet Coke and my red cup, and doing good. Mauricio, I'm glad to see it. There you go, buddy.
Here we go. A little red cup.
Red Solo cup.
With my Sapporo.
Nice. Everything good with you, buddy?
Going good. Going really good. Up in the mountains with the kids this weekend.
Nice.
Like on a lake. It's awesome.
I feel like the beard is getting tighter. Are you trimming it a little
Had a
more?
good trim this morning. I worked on it a little because I knew I was going to see you and I wanted to impress you. So
Yeah, good. Nicely done.
Jay, what's up, man?
We can do a little bit of a science corner here for Mauricio's knowledge with Starlink. So in a previous life, before I did real estate, I did technology, and I worked at DirecTV for many, many years, and was working on one of the products I worked on was a thing called HughesNet, which was basically it's Starlink, but DirecTV's version of Starlink, and it's internet over satellite. And one of the things that we did at HughesNet, DirecTV, was we used what's called geosynchronous satellites, meaning you put the satellites up higher, they stay in one place. You always point your dish at one satellite. Starlink has satellites in lower orbit, so it's cheaper to put them there, but they're constantly rotating, and that means they're doing handoffs every time the satellites go past your house. So there you go.
the more you know.
Can you just text me the solution to my problem?
I think you'd be looking at Elon to come up with the solution to that problem. I'm not sure I'm smart enough. Everything's
Please tell
good.
me you're at least drinking after that.
I am. I pulled out.
I saw him drinking some wine.
I pulled out a big, bold Bordeaux, 2019 Bordeaux, and so I'm drinking that, and I'm getting ready. I'm heading to Dallas in a day or two to visit a property that we're getting ready to close on. We're buying some land to build a large apartment complex. I have a conference there this weekend. I'm going to be hanging out with Mauricio. I think you guys are dissing us, but Mauricio will be hanging out in Dallas this weekend.
I'm sending my better half. I already sent her, dropped her off to the airport. I'm taking care of the kids by myself. No camp this week either, so it's just Camp Wilson, just figuring out stuff to do with them every day. So I am drinking a lot. This is no different this night. Just every night I'm gonna have to drink to put up with it. But I'm going with a beer tonight. I am a beer drinker at sometimes when I'm drinking more than one drink, and I'm going with the Kona Big Wave. It's a fun beer. And I also have a fridge right next to me, so if I need a second, I can just go in and grab it. Yeah. So you guys have fun there in Dallas. Check on our property there. Officially closed out that raise for the first round, right, Jay?
We closed it out a day or two ago. We raised everything we needed and getting ready to buy the land.
Nice. So keep your eyes tuned for the next one. Next, we got a second round of that coming up.
Wait, this is not the pitch fest. This is not the part of the show where you pitch your deals. That's at the end of the show, not right now.
That's fair. I'll take that criticism under note, and I will and
Throw that note away.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get back into this gold. Talking about gold.
Finally, we talk about something. We should talk. The rest of the episode should be on gold.
Isn't this the one thing Mauricio got?
No, just the funny. If you remember, it was not last predictions episode. It was the one before. And we asked Mauricio what the best performing real estate class would be, and his answer was gold. So I guess I don't know if you call that a win or not, but
At that point, if you had not bought all your multifamily and bought gold on leverage, 80% LTV, you would have done just fine.
Yeah. So what's everyone's Mauricio? Since you're so excited, I'll let you go first. Do you think gold's going up from here? That's a good question.
Well, I was looking at my last prediction. I said it was going to touch 3,000, which it actually touched and then took off.
By.
I think it's consolidating. I think it's, it did that move from 3 to about 3,400, and this is back in April, and it's just kind of been going sideways, and I think it'll continue to go sideways for the rest of the year. So I would expect it to be in that range. So I don't think it's going anywhere. Just going to go sideways, choppy for the next 6 months.
Yeah, beginning of the year it took off, and then it's been kind of range bound. I've
consolidated. Yep, and
I like looking at gold because I do have some gold, and it's been like the shining star. You could always just take a look at it and be like, that gold is doing great, even though tariffs and all these other things are going on. But I do agree with you. I do think though, if we have a little bit of the back end of this year, if we have to do some rate cuts and stuff like that, I do think gold could go up a little bit. So I'm going to say up a little bit. It's not going down, up a little bit. AJ, what do you think?
I think gold will remain fairly flat. I think most of the run up we've seen. So I think, what is it on here? We got me and you, Kyle, and all of us were kind of right in line. I think it'll stay right about 34.
Yeah, so that's up a little bit. Yeah, so we're
I think it's gonna be range bound between 32 and 34 is really where I'm seeing it.
I think our prediction at the first of the year will remain true because I think that big run up we've seen.
Jake, you agreeing with us? Are you going back?
I think I was the one. I think I was the only one that said gold was not going up for the rest of this year, and I think I'm going to change that and say gold's been up 20% this year, and I think we've got a little bit further to go. And so and crazy enough, silver's up 30% this year, and so
Which I think I did touch on last time. Silver has been silver used to move a lot more with gold, and it hasn't been. So there is a lot of arguments to say that silver has some ways to go to catch up with gold.
Jay must have skipped the math. I mean, gold started at 2650 ish at the beginning of the year, and now it's at 33.25. That's way more than 20%, and it got up to even higher than that. So
do the math.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 20. All right.
So yeah, I'm going to
Mauricio's
say
a lawyer.
gold.
Jay's the economist. We'll let that one slide.
I'm going to say gold up a little bit from here, not a lot, but maybe a couple more percent. It'll be higher than it is today.
All right, so a couple flats, a couple up a little bits. All right, Bitcoin. I'll go. I love Mauricio's Bitcoin predictions because I know he doesn't care. And I know he doesn't follow it. And so it's always at least entertaining to listen to Mauricio talk about Bitcoin. So Mauricio, what do you think Bitcoin's going to be?
What did I say last time? That it was going to be
You
around
were
100
the only
grand
one who had it going down.
to 100 grand.
No, it was at 100 grand when we made the prediction. You said it was going down.
And is Bitcoin still a thing, or has it moved on to other things? I will say that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. I know that's not the prediction, but that's my prediction. Ethereum will now take over, and over the next 6 to 12 months, and probably the next couple of years, I think Ethereum will be the kind of the silver to the.
You got any reason behind that, or you just watched the podcast once and that's what they said?
I saw some. I think it was on South Park or something. I don't know.
I'm going to actually agree with them. I know you didn't call on me, but I think Ethereum has more implicit value than Bitcoin simply because it can be used for what are called smart transactions or smart contracts.
Smart contracts, Jay. Come on.
And so there is some implicit value in Ethereum as a solution to both business and technical problems, whereas Bitcoin is it's popular and don't get me wrong, popularity will take it a long way.
Isn't Bitcoin still the only one classified as a commodity though? Ethereum isn't
as a non sort of security if you're trading it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter as much with the new Trump administration, but that was a big deal to me before, because it was technically the only one where you couldn't get in trouble for selling it.
Yeah, and even all the legal ramifications where Coinbase was in trouble because there was listing supposedly non-security, that all got dropped. So it's obviously a pro crypto Bitcoin administration.
AJ, what do you think? Apparently, this is shifting to Ethereum versus Bitcoin instead of just Bitcoin.
I think the idea of talking about value with this is a little absurd, because ain't nobody care about that when we're talking about these coins. I think it will continue just like it has, tracking other index. It tracks it almost like perfectly. So I think if you are going along with particularly a lot of different market stuff things, I think it's up. I don't think it'll drop below 100,000. And so I think I'm staying with above 100,000.
Yeah, I think so too. But at some point, I also do think Bitcoin.
That's what we're predicting, right?
Yeah.
Or did I have that wrong? Oh, yeah.
No, you're right. You're the only one who actually did it. So it's interesting because I do think Bitcoin's obviously a bit of a vanity play too. And so if we do see any kind of softness, recession and stuff, like if I don't have any Bitcoin now, which obviously I'm kicking myself, I had it before, but if I did have any Bitcoin, like that would be the first thing that I would sell if I needed to sell anything, right? Like I'm not going to get rid of any of my other assets. Bitcoin's going to be the first thing to go and the easiest thing to go, even over gold. So I do think at some point we could see it, and we know Bitcoin can correct 20% in a heartbeat. It's not like the stock market, even if stock market corrects 20%, but that, usually takes days. Bitcoin can be hours. So yeah, but I don't see it happening this first year in 2025. So I don't think we're going up much, but I think we're staying about the same.
AJ, did you mention an index or something? Because I always thought that Bitcoin, the things I've seen, it tracks like just global liquidity. When there's a lot of liquidity in the global markets, Bitcoin tends to catch a bit, and when there's when the liquidity dries up and there's tightness, it goes down.
There's a good correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P. So in statistics, you can do this thing called a regression analysis, where you can see how good a correlation is or if there's causation. And if you do a regression analysis on Bitcoin and S&P, it's pretty high. Yeah. At least over the last few years.
Yeah. It's like 0.8 or something like that, right? It's high.
I thought it was more the NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ was the biggest one for the Bitcoin that they correlated, but
so it is. Okay, so I almost nailed it. It's 0.7. That's a close to 0.7.
It's a pretty strong correlation. So
yeah, but
basically,
look at this one though. This is from freaking Reddit Bitcoin, so I don't know how I remember, but this is the global M2 liquidity.
So if you think gold is going up, Bitcoin will go down.
No, this is the global. This is no. This is what I'm looking at here for those. It's the global M2 liquidity as
it tracks it like identically.
It's easy. Predict liquidity, and you got Bitcoin.
Money,
there you go.
Easy money. Yeah.
Problem is we have like less than 10 years worth of data, so not
only that, it's impossible to track global liquidity because there's so much of the stuff that they're just not being tracked. No, there's no official
arguing Bitcoin's like arguing politics or religion. It's not really worth it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do on this podcast every day.
And yet it's been our longest segment so far.
We should go back to gold.
Let's just run through. I'll run through a bunch of the stuff we talked about. If you guys ever want to jump in on any of them, we can. Just to update people, we obviously talked about tariffs. I don't think we can make predictions about tariffs. I don't want to. Who knows? They change the goalposts move a lot. Deportations, whether there's going to be a lot or a little. I feel like that's still one of those things that it gets a lot of noise about things happening, but I don't feel like it's that much more than it actually was in historically. So I think we were all kind of right on that. Elon cutting the budget with Doge. Technically, he did cut some things. So that's enough to call a win there. But as far as how much he cut versus how much our deficit's going up with the new budget, I don't really call what Doge did a win at this point. Daylight savings. I'm still just hopeful they're going to get rid of daylight savings one way or another. Either keep daylight savings full time. Jabe made a point last time. There's a big difference, but either keep that full time or do away with it completely. I just hate the clocks changing. National emergency. Obviously, Trump declared a national emergency.
Where are the Epstein files on this one? I don't see the Epstein files on here.
We'll get there. Will Trump remove Jerome Powell before his term ends? At the end or at the beginning of the year, we all kind of said no, except for Mauricio said he didn't care.
Am I looking at a different spreadsheet? It says no. It says no on the Mauricio column. Am I missing something? This is the 2025 predictions.
New predictions. That's what I have.
Right. And it says no.
He was reading the UFO files.
Oh,
sorry. My bad. A lot of data on here. I assume
I'm already struggling here, Kyle. You can't just not give me some points here, dude. Come on.
I assume we all think that Powell's here to stay to the end of his term. UFO files. That's where I don't know, don't care. Ukraine war and Gaza war. Do we updated? We still have a Ukraine war and we still have a Gaza war. I think most of us said we thought the Ukraine war was ending. Do we think they have an update of it? We have 50 at this point. What we have 50 days? Is that what the
what did I say?
I think we all thought that
you says agreed with AJ.
Yeah, mine said it'd be over next year.
Oh no, that's Kyle.
I don't know what no means. So
Trump ends Ukraine war. No. Ends Gaza war. No. You don't know what that means?
So theoretically, Jay is in the lead on that one. But all we need is that Ukraine war to end somehow, and we will all
That's
come
all
back.
we need is the Ukraine war to end.
Well, in 50 days, if you listen to our president, it's going to be over in 50
He
days.
said he cut it back to 15. He cut it back to 15.
Oh, okay, well,
I don't look into it.
we'll wait for the next Truth Social post to keep you updated on that one. Okay, TikTok. That's, you know what? I did want to bring this up because I haven't heard anything about TikTok.
I looked it up, and that deadline came and went and blew by, and nobody's talking about it. And there's no Trump extended it, and he has no authority. He has no authority under the act to extend it, and he extended it anyway, and nobody's complaining. So if you don't complain or do anything about it, then you can do whatever you want.
And like I've heard a couple times, there's a group that's going to buy it, but then you just don't hear anything. So I don't know if it's worth discussing. It just, with everything else going on, doesn't seem like anyone really cares, to be honest. All right, no comments on those, so we can move on to some other stuff. I want to do a fun one here where everyone's talking about AI right now. So I'll give you guys a second to come up with an AI prediction. In order to kind of pull this out so you can have some time, I saw the other day, this is what's scary about it.
Whoa, hold on, stop. Jay, put those up again.
Put what up?
Your freaking guns, bro. Look at that.
Did you give the
Dude. Yeah, Jay's over there looking all toned. Look at that crap.
Oh boy.
It's so funny. I was actually on the spreadsheet, so I wasn't even watching myself. So
Yeah, bro. No, looking good.
Jay, the curls for the girls.
my 15-year-old drags me to the gym every day.
It's showing, man.
Yeah, as long as I stay chest up, I'm good.
Is that from the weight room, or is that from the weight room, or is that from like mucking all your poker cards, just flicking the cards out?
It's scooping his chips.
Oh, that's a back exercise. That's a back exercise.
They have 50-pound dumbbells at Planet Fitness, Mauricio.
Hey,
We can do curls.
We switched it. We're the real gym now.
The Costco gym. AI prediction. I'm bringing this up because I saw this the other day where there's this company that had an AI, and they were like they were writing code, and they integrated their AI into their entire system, and they implemented like it was called like a coding freeze, and the AI didn't know how to handle it, and it freaked out, and it deleted all of their data off the server. And the person talking to the AI was like, "What are you doing? Why did you do that?" And the AI was like, "You're right. I panicked. I shouldn't have done that." And was like, the AI was like apologizing to them. And then the guy asked them, on a scale of 1 to 100, how bad is this? And the AI was like, this is a 95. This is, you have basically 2 months worth of your work is completely gone. they all through this AI did this. So that just made me like, there's got to be something big happens with the AI. We still haven't had, like, all these scandals are kind of minor, where like one AI gets a little bit racist or something and makes some comments, or one AI gets woke and makes some comments. And
that's
like,
already happened.
Yeah, I've got here's my, well, you have a question, because I think I know where you're going, but I got some thoughts on this.
All right, yeah, I just want a prediction. I want an AI prediction because I think something big's happening.
This is something that I actually think is tied to, kind of interestingly, with Bitcoin and that stuff, but I think it's coming, where AI is going to basically be able to infiltrate the banking system, meaning they're going to be able to fake your passwords and get your face recognition, which they're going to already do, right? They're already can fake your voice recognition. They're almost there to even if you got a Zoom thing or a retina scan or whatever. And so what happens the day that all of your people's money starts disappearing from the banks and they start losing confidence in the banking system because the AI can actually go in there and, bad actors can go and use AI to get your bank information. I think there's going to be,
is that why I don't have any money in the bank?
Yes.
It's not my fault, right?
What happens when the people
Exactly.
people lose confidence in the banking system because they're like, dude, I got money in the bank, and freaking somebody's coming in and stealing it from me because they're faking my identity. The banks start kicking it in, then they don't. Like, are they going to be like, crap, Bitcoin seems to be, or some kind of cryptocurrency seems to be a safer mechanism for my banking world? And now they're talking about official stable coins. And so that might be the move into crypto, whether it's Bitcoin or stable coins, or the official Chase JP Morgan coin, which is just a stable coin. It's not really the same as crypto, but something like that I think is coming, and you can play this clip when it does.
Now, I wasn't going to get as specific as that, but I do think there will be some sort of AI controversy where AI has been used in a bad actor's sense and will infiltrate some sort of, and it'll be major scandal at some point. And I just think it's building. I feel like you can feel it building.
I think we're going to start to see a divergence. I think we're going to see major divergence of AI because we have so many of these different AI companies, how they've structured them and set them up with the guardrails, everything else. I think because of how these foundations have been set, I think what we will start to see is major differences amongst different AIs in a way that lots of times probably we didn't understand or predict. And especially when you're getting into like other countries because of those guardrails and how they're set up. And I think that's going to become more and more predominant. And I think that has lots of implications that we don't quite know or understand, especially how they're built into companies or social structures or governance, and which one you're deciding to use and how then it's being used. It's like having 3 different presidents, right? It has their own wants, needs, their own thoughts, the way that they go about actually processing or thinking, the outcomes they want and why, predicated on how they were raised, their political, religious beliefs, everything else. And I think that's going to become more and more evident by the end of the year. And that's going to cause a lot of interesting discussions about AI, is the differences amongst them and what that means.
I could talk on this for hours, but I think top of mind right now is simply the companies that we think of when we think of AI. I think that's going to change a whole lot over the next couple of years, even the next few months potentially. We talked last year, maybe it was early this year, about DeepSeek, which was the Chinese company that came out with a AI LLM, a large language model that in theory rivaled OpenAI for a tiny fraction of the cost and memory. And now there are a number of other Chinese companies that have come out over the last few months that are putting out large language models and AI models that are absolutely like crushing what we have in the US. We don't hear about them as much simply because it happened once and now it's not talked about as much. And frankly, the US models are getting a lot better too. But I think there's some interesting stuff going on in other parts of the world that may surprise us at some point that we're not totally ready for. And then domestically, I think it's a lot like the internet revolution where we always expected certain companies to kind of win in the internet space because they were big pre-internet and early internet. So we expected Yahoo to be big and we expected all of those companies like Yahoo to be big. And we had no idea that like whole new companies would emerge in different verticals and vertically integrated, things like Google and Amazon is a great example. Like nobody even would have expected a company like Amazon to exist. I think we're going to start to see a lot of that in AI as well. We're going to see new companies emerge that have vertical integration that we don't even think about in terms of AI today, and sectors and products and services in AI that will exist that we don't think about. One thing to realize is that there are companies like Meta that are spending an absolute ridiculous amount of money on AI talent. They just hired a whole bunch of engineers that they're paying between $10 and $100 million per year. And they're getting between $10 and $100 million in signing bonuses. They made an offer to one engineer for $1.5 billion for a 10-year contract. Turned them down, by the way. So just to get an idea, like we're starting to see AI engineers worth more than the best athletes on the planet. So I think things are likely to change in the next couple of years, especially as certain companies start throwing a lot of money at these guys and gals. And I think, again, it'll be a lot like the internet revolution where we can't predict what's coming, but it's going to look very different in a year or 2 or 3 than it does today.
Fair. All right. I like to end this off kind of the same way we did last time, where I go to Polymarket, which is, if anyone doesn't know, Polymarket is basically a betting site that technically is not legal in the US at the moment, but they're talking about making it possibly legal. where basically you can bet on anything. So you just go to like what's trending, and it's what people think are an interesting thing to bet on at this moment. So obviously the Fed decision in July is one of those things. Will Powell be out as Fed chair? They're even betting on the election winner for 2028 as he is right now, is one of the bets, and JD Vance is winning heavily right now, 28%.
Can I tell a funny? Can I tell a funny poly market story? I saw an article or a post. I mean, it wasn't even an article; it was a post the other day where somebody posted basically their poly market account, and they went from something like $500 to like $128,000, just some ridiculous over the last 6 months growth in their poly market account. And if you looked at all their bets, basically all their bets were political bets, saying no, nothing's going to happen. So it was like, is Trump going to do this? No. Is Trump going to do this? No. Is Trump going to do this? No. And basically it was just, he was betting everything was going to stay exactly the same and nothing was actually going to change. And his account just went from like nothing to over $100,000 in a couple months.
And so obviously one of these big ones, there's actually 3 different things you can bet on for the Epstein files. That's not including the Ghislaine Maxwell bets. So one of the bets is, will they be made public in 2025? And the current poly market betting is 31% chance. So Mauricio, do you think they're going to be made public in 2025?
I'm sorry. What this presumably the list or just documents in general?
Well, the files, significant files.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've heard a good argument against why, and so I'm going to say no.
AJ?
No.
No. Jay?
I mean, I would have bet against the prison tape being made available, but I guess the question is
was the prison tape made available? Because
that's my point. Like, what happens when a whole bunch of files are released, but people dispute whether they were the real files or they were doctor files or made up files or Obama hoax files? Like, who do they pay out? Like, that just seems like a tough thing to decide if you're going to pay out. But I'm
right.
going to.
I mean, there is a separate bet on Polymarket of will more files be released by August 31st. So there's basically saying, oh, the same thing. Like,
I think more files, yes. Yeah, I'd say more files, but what does that mean? Like one? Like, so like, yeah, absolutely. Do I think we're going to get a client list? Do I think, no, we're not going to get the full files. No.
If anything, documents would be released and the people's names would be blacked out for their privacy and for their protection or whatever. So even if you gave,
I feel like that'd be worse than not releasing them.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They would literally black out the names.
Everyone's just going to assume every single blacked out thing is Trump. Well, I don't think they would black out Clinton. But by the way, on Polymarket, it says, who do you think the odds-on favorite is of the person who will be named in the newly released Epstein files? Bill Clinton, number 1. Second is actually Prince Andrew. So there's conspiracy theory that Prince Andrew has some influence here.
The problem is you name any one person, that person's probably got information about everybody else, and you run the risk of them releasing it. So
there is 7% who think Barack Obama apparently is going to be, used to be an Epstein frequenter. 9% Joe Biden too.
I'm sure there's a few that would say Jimmy Carter also.
All right. Anything else on here? We can bet on ChatGPT 5. We could talk about Elon Musk and his net worth. Any other bets you guys want to make?
We want to talk about Elon Musk and the what's it called, the America Party?
Ooh, do we think that's actually going to happen? I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Not this year.
Like, I think if he were an American citizen and he could actually run for president, you would think he'd have a lot more incentive to do it. I think that's probably the only thing that would stop him.
Yeah, but he could always pick a good candidate. I feel like if you look at our recent history of candidates, it shouldn't be that hard to find someone.
It would be nice
capable,
to have real actual options. I mean, even the last election, we were only like the options. One was told and the other one was Trump. Like, we had literally, the American people had like one option that they put forth. The other one was given. And I think that's just disdain to a lot of people. They're like, this is what we're left with. And I think there's a lot of desire for that.
So I'm not looking to start a political argument here, but there's a lot of talk these days about, is Trump going to make it through the rest of his term or the rest of the year, whether it be for some scandal, whether it be for health issues. Do we want to talk about whether he's making it the rest of
He's not going anywhere.
I can't imagine him going anywhere unless somebody takes him out. I mean, a bunch of people tried. So
A lot of people are losing a lot of money right now. Maybe something will happen, but I don't see any reason why it would be more likely with him right now than any other president.
Okay, gets Lane Maxwell pardon.
no,
At this point, I think that's toxic. If he does that, that's like he's already
I'm a little
under
confused.
fire.
I'm on this like the Chinese Premier Xi out in 2025. Which is there? I don't know if there's news about that, but I'm a little, so if I put $100 on no, which is like a slam dunk, I'm going to make 10% of my money. Is that how these things work?
Not straight up,
It
but
just says
yeah.
no 90 cents, and I'm like, so if I put $100 down, I'm going to win 111. That Xi Jinping was not going to be out, and if I put yes, it's I get 8-1 odds, but still 10% seems like a good. It's almost
Yeah, well, that was Jay's point. If you just bet, he probably bet all those. He just bet no. But the problem is that it just takes you to lose one of those 10, and it offsets all your other wins. So that's kind of the way it works.
But I'm not no, because I'm not losing. Either one, I'm not losing. I put $100 to win 800 or $100 to win 111. Jay, you're the poker guy. Aren't the EV on that pretty good?
I'm not sure what you're looking at, but there's also the VIG. You're also paying the.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on.
All right. That's all I got, guys. Any other fun predictions? Or we I think we like hypothetical situations. I think is I got a few of those if you want to move on to those.
Let's do it.
There's your hypotheticals.
All right, I got a fun one. You get $50 million, but you have to figure out a way to get a Wikipedia page made about you, and you can't like ask somebody to do it. Like you have to basically do something that is significant enough that someone writes a Wikipedia page about you. Do you think you could do it?
So I followed this thread, and the general consensus was you'd probably have to do something pretty bad to get a Wikipedia page. Like you'd have to be pretty
Or embarrassing.
To get a Wikipedia page. What would you do, AJ?
Wait. What does it take to get a Wikipedia page? Jay, you can't create a Wikipedia page for me?
Nope.
You can't the rules are you can't ask someone to do it for you. Someone just has to take it upon themselves to go and write one. And the reason they would do that is if you did something newsworthy, significant.
I'll give you $1,000 to go
whatnot.
write a Wikipedia page about me.
But the bar is actually pretty. So you probably couldn't get one, Marie. I couldn't get one as of a year or two ago. Not to say that I should be able to get one
You're
before
at the
you.
final table at the World Series of Poker. How do you not have your own Wikipedia page?
Because so it's funny because I have a lot of little things that if you put them together seems like he's written 5 books and he's done this in real estate and he did this in technology, he did this in poker, but it has to be one thing that's notable enough, and they've cracked down. I had a page a few years ago and they took it down actually, and I did not create it myself either.
So that's the question. Do you think you could do it? Jay, do you think you could do it? You've obviously had some thought about this.
For 50 million, I'd certainly try.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
I mean, but the problem is once you create one, then you have no control of what gets added to it, right?
No, of course not. That's not the problem. The problem is can you do something significant enough in, let's say you have a week.
Oh, a week. Wait.
I think I could figure something out to do it, and then I could build out enough publicity around it too. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think, okay, I'm willing to spend 20 million to win 50, right?
For me, it would be a little bit longer, but I'd probably try and run for political office or do something political where a lot of people.
No, you only have a week, Jay. That was the rule.
I would I try? Yeah, I have no idea how I would do it though.
You could just get arrested for peeing on the White House lawn or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure you're getting a Wikipedia page for that.
It'd have to be pretty funny. I can't answer that because I already have a Wikipedia page. But
let's add to it.
yeah, I mean, athletes in general just get Wikipedia page. So, all right, I got one more. If you could pick one brand that you don't have to do anything, you basically just become an ambassador for them, and you get everything free for them. Who would you pick? And this can't be like an overarching. It can't be like Target, and like you get all the stuff in Target, or like. It can't be like General Mills and you get all of their food. Like it's got to be like one specific brand that sells.
Blackstone.
They got to sell. They got to sell products that they can give to you for free.
Costco.
You can't do Costco, but Kirkland would count.
I don't know, Porsche, Lamborghini.
Yeah, I would do Camus.
Yeah, but think about that. Like, would you really want to do Kirkland, or would you want to do Rolls Royce?
Yeah, Rolls Royce. That's what I'm talking about.
Or one of my thoughts was like a brand like Mitsubishi or Yamaha, because they make so much random shit, right?
Yeah.
Like Yamaha, you could get a piano or a motorbike. Like it's like they're kind of all over the map. Or what's there's got to be a company that makes like private jets and others, but then you got to pay like the upkeep for a private jet. I don't know. Kirkland's not a bad answer. Like you can pretty much.
If I do Sothersby, will I get a house?
They don't really sell products though. They don't really count. So what's your final answer, Jay? You going with Kirkland?
I'm thinking of like really high end wine brands, but yeah, I probably do go with Kirkland.
Pilatus.
What is that?
It's a plane company. They make the PC-12s and the PC-24s.
Well, why not Boeing?
I really like the PC-24s.
Okay.
So.
Mauricio, how about you?
Either Gulfstream or NetJets.
Ooh, Gulfstream's a good one.
Yeah, I think you still have to pay for the pilots and the gas.
Yeah, I think I got to go with like I would look into it more, but I think like Yamaha or Honda or Mitsubishi, one of those companies that makes like
Yamaha would be a good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
You
can
get
just get
musical
all that stuff.
instruments, you get transportation.
You can get a Yamaha hockey stick.
I don't know if I want a Yamaha hockey stick, but that's all I got, guys. Fun episode. What we got it over an hour.
Wait a second, what did you just say?
Can we say that this is the last time we're doing the silly prediction show?
No, Kyle just said it was a fun episode.
He's drunk. Don't listen to him.
He didn't mean to say it. He wants to take it back, but he said it. I've got it on. I've
He's
got it
never
recorded.
getting it back now. Jay's gonna clip that and just.
Oh, no doubt. That's our intro.
The only thing was fun was the stuff at the end. It had nothing to do with the predictions. That's what. It's always fun hanging out with you guys. You got any plugs? What do you got, Mauricio?
I don't have any plugs today. I'm going to plug AJ's YouTube channel. Go to AJ's YouTube channel.
Gracias.
It's not AJ. It should just be AJ.com, but it's is it selfstorageincome.com?
It's AJ Osborne.
Wow.
AJ Osborne.
I think even AJ can't afford AJ.com.
AJ, get on it,
I
man.
bought
AJ.com.
AJosborne.com. Cost me $50.
Well, or you could just Google his name.
I spent a lot on jscott.com.
Yeah. Crazy.
You did? How much?
That can be a game for next week.
Ooh. Did you pay it all up front or did you do payments over time?
All up front. It's not that much.
You just made me go and look at kylewilson.com to see what it was, and it's the guy, the Jim Rohn guy.
I bought all my kids' names too. All my kids' names, my wife's names. I bought them all. You should get them. If you can, buy them.
Yeah, that's interesting. AJ, what do you got? Plug.
You know what? The tech fund, we opened up 2 weeks ago. I think I talked about it a couple times. I'll stick with that one. Excited about the SaaS businesses and our industry we're raising for that diversified fund. Link will be in the description.
Jay, what do you got?
I'm going to do Conference Connect. So we're going to a big conference this weekend. Actually, a lot of people who are going to the Limitless conference this weekend bought their tickets on conferenceconnect.com, and if they did, they got 10% off. And if you want to buy tickets to any conferences you might be going to in the near future, go to conferenceconnect.com. You probably get 10% off. And if it doesn't offer you 10% off, shoot me an email and I'll negotiate it.
We do negotiate individually with conferences, so if you don't see it on there, maybe we can work it out. If you are going to Limitless, if you're listening to this or you're at Limitless or you just got back from Limitless, then leave them a review. Go check out Jay. Are you speaking Limitless? Mauricio, you guys are both speaking, right? Go leave them a review from on conferenceconnect.com. Turn them into top speakers. They're not really top speakers at the moment. So,
We are definitely top speakers, just to be clear on that.
And if not, just go follow my wife, BadAshInvestor. All right, guys. Good hanging out. Always love hanging out with you. Hopefully we all back next week.
Heck yeah. We'll be here.
All right. I will see you next Thursday.
See you guys.